Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. Today is Tuesday, April 27th, 2001. Wanted to welcome you to our weekly market update video. This is the video where we update what happened last week in the market and we preview a little bit of what's happening in the market this week. Also, come back and join us on our Friday videos. That's the planning video where we really stay focused on your goals. We're going to talk about what we can do to make sure that we stay in line with those longer term goals. I'm going to bring you some interesting planning ideas, try to do that for you every week. As I mentioned on Friday, we wanted to talk a little bit more about ESG investing. That's investing while taking into account the environmental, the social, and the governance of the companies and the industries. Last week was the 51st Earth Day, so we talked about that. I mentioned that the climate's become a pretty big deal and a pretty big driving factor in investment principles these days. In a 2021 letter to shareholders, Larry Fink, the CEO of one of the largest asset managers in the world, BlackRock, wrote that the tectonic shift towards sustainability focused companies is accelerating. So BlackRock is actually calling on its companies that they're researching to disclose how the business models that they have will be compatible with a net zero economy. Fink and others definitely have their eyes on how the investment world will be driven by this issue. We've seen it in a new bill from Congress, and even more so in the past year or so with investments in solar power and electronic vehicles. This is something we can dive into more. It's not a new thing. I've been dealing with this question since I started in the business. Back then, there was only one company that's doing it. Now, pretty much everyone's doing it. So if you have questions on that, please get in touch. We can talk a little bit more in depth about how that can actually be involved in your portfolio. Let's jump into last week's market action, preview what we'll see this week. There is so much going on, buckle up. So last week we saw volatility pick up again. Monday we had a slow news day, but the market was reacting to rising COVID rates in India and the lockdowns over there. The S&P 500 is down about 0.5% on Monday. Tuesday, more selling came in. There was really not any marketable news, but there was no fuel for the bulls to keep that going. So that left momentum from Monday, and we saw the market go down a little bit over 1% again. Reversal on Wednesday, market started to look beyond the COVID numbers and focus on earnings. This is going to be a theme you hear a lot, so make note of that. The S&P 500 was up close to 1% on Wednesday. Thursday morning was more of Wednesday until there was a leak about midday about the upcoming Biden capital gains tax plan. Now, this should sound familiar to everyone because then candidate Biden talked about it on the campaign trail over and over and over again, but the market seemed surprised. We had another reversal of the direction. The S&P 500 closed down almost 1%. Friday, we once again saw another reversal of fortune, seeing the pattern here. As economic data and the digestion of the old news about the tax plan sunk in, we are starting to see some common thought that the rate of increase in the capital gains will actually be about half of what is being proposed right now. So we'll see how that goes. S&P 500 for the week was down 0.13%. Not so much, but that was the first time in 4 weeks that the market was down for the week, so it was noteworthy. What do we make of this? What are we watching this week? So there's a lot to go over, so please excuse my brevity and my speed. Call me if you want to discuss any of these things further. The market's high. We know that. We've discussed this. Doesn't mean that it cannot or should not go higher. I still believe that we will see more gains before the end of the year. The economic numbers seem to back this up. And the earnings, I told you that would be a focus again, they are forecast to be very, very strong. The recovery that's underway seems to be strong and driven by the fact that we've been stuck at home for over a year. As long as the direction of the public health continues to stay strong and stays good, then we should see a strong economic and market growth. So we'll keep watching to see if the Federal Reserve pulls away the punch bowl or if there's significant negative COVID news. But for the medium and long term, we're still optimistic. So this week, probably one of the most important and action-packed weeks in a while. According to Zacks Research, 900 different companies will be reporting their earnings this week, including the big ones that we are always watching: Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Alphabet. So far this quarter, 25% of all the companies that have reported 25% of the S&P 500 has already reported. 84% of those had positive per share earnings surprises, and 77% of those topped their revenue estimates. So if that were not enough, we'll also have a Federal Reserve meeting, a 2-day Federal Reserve meeting, followed by a press conference where every syllable that Jay Powell talks and utters from his mouth will be put under a microscope, and we'll see how that goes. Friday will bring the core PCE price index. That is the Fed's favorite measurement for inflation. So we have to see what that looks like. We're expecting it to be a pretty strong number, but just because we're comparing it to last March, which of course was the very beginning and the tightest lockdown of the pandemic at that time. So pile on top of that, we've got weekly jobless claims, and we've got the Q1 GDP report. So one more thing, President Biden's going to speak this week, and he's probably for sure going to speak about the capital gains rate increase that he's proposing. He'll talk about the infrastructure plan that's already been proposed. We're starting to see pushback from some of the Democratic senators. Of course, we're seeing pushback from the Republicans. So while all that goes on, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been reapproved. It's back out on the street, so that's a good thing. But at the same time, we're starting to see news about people avoiding their second shots. So what is that really going to do to our move to roll out and to get this country and this economy open again? That remains to be seen. So I think that's enough for today. Sorry so much, but I did warn you. Please tune in again on Friday, again for our planning video, and then watch for us next week for another market update. Again, feel free to share this with other people who you think might need it or want it, and look forward to talking to you again soon. Please call us with any questions. Thank you very much. Have a great week and be safe.